Alrighty. Okay. Welcome, Rajinder. Where are we at this week?
Yeah, so this is what exactly I'm going to do. I'm going to
No. We're going to tell the story. So we got to rewind. Alright, so let me rewind. Let's tell the story about how this project came to be, because I think it's a fun story.
Okay.
And so you're going to hear laundry in the back room, so sorry, but it's so cool because we're just doing real stuff here because we're real people creating real things. So in April, I was going and I did a road trip with my friend, and so we went all around the southwestern United States, did this glamping trip, and just went to a whole bunch of cool fun places. And so I come home from that vacation and I start reading a book, and it talks about global something and something, right? So I don't remember the author's name, but it's super thick book, very complex, right? Global something and God, right? So I start reading this book, and he talks about how King Frederick of Denmark, and I may have the names wrong, had this relationship with Mozart. And so, so Mozart, it might not be Mozart, it might be Schubert. So I might have all the names wrong, but all right. Famous old composer becomes friends with the King of Denmark, who wants his pianoforte. And so he had the first piano, he had designed it, and so he finally gets this musician to come and and he buys the pianoforte, and then he comes in and plays. And so the king loves the music so much, and they become friends. And so what happens is they have this mad libs of composing. And so the musician would send the king like a mad lib to say, okay, here's a fill in the blank, here's the start of the melody, and you go finish it, right? So he would send them ideas, and they were pen pals back hundreds of years ago. And so I started reading this book, and for some reason, you know, I'm actually on THC, so I'm high as a kite, and we had just come back from our road trip, and so I'm just high as a kite, and I have this idea for Cinemachina. So I had been working on creating AI meditation videos on my channel, Seeking Gamma, since the beginning of the year. I had automated the full pipeline, so I did most of the full pipeline automation, and so on that channel, everything was AI generated, right? So I AI generated the images through DALL-E. I created the videos through Runway ML. I did the meditation transcripts through Claude, and through the magic of Python and the magic of Claude Code, I built this application that generated the transcripts. I would just provide the theme. I would find the music, because the AIs don't create good meditation music yet. And then I'd give credit to the artists, so that way they got credit. And then, you know, that I had my video pipeline, right? So, so that's been a fun joy to create. It's really, I've been unemployed for over a year, and it was kind of the only good thing that I had going on in my life was doing these episodes, because I was kind of doing these episodes to help me through a troubled time, through a dark time, and it was not fun. It was depressing when you send out hundreds of applications and don't even get a call back, when you've got over 25 years of technology design experience and 2 business degrees, and you're an expert in your craft, and you can't even get a interview. It's a little rough. And so, you know, I'm just a meditation nerd, so I created these things to help me through hard times, and it did. And what I'll say personally is having videos in my own voice, talking to me about my own problems, was really just, it was a really powerful thing. And so I just started publishing them on YouTube and creating the videos, and so it's been fun. So we get back from this road trip, and we end up, and I just have this spark of this idea of creating this game called Cinemachina. And so I go search for the domain, it's available. I start typing on ChatGPT and Claude to go create the business plan and the game rules. And I have deep research ChatGPT, go and start creating the provisional patent for me. And so I'm super excited about this game, right? Because I'm like, oh my God, this is going to be so fun. My friend and I had started creating music from our road trip, and so it was like, oh, we can go create music videos and stuff like that. And so, so we end up going to our neighborhood bar called the Gladly in Phoenix, Arizona. So brilliant place if you're in Phoenix, we love it, at 22nd Street in Camelback. And so we're sitting at the bar and we're just celebrating, right? So we're having champagne, we're having cocktails there. I'm still high as a kite, right? So, and some guy sits at the end of the bar, right? And so, so you know, we're just having fun, and you know, he's like doing something, and we just have a little conversation about how we're celebrating my $1 billion idea, right? And so this guy is like, okay, well, I could be an investor, right? And so he's like, tell me your pitch, right? So here is Cinemachina, right? So the game concept we had come up with is a telephone mode. So basically, you create a movie and you go from person to person, and just see what the AIs create. So if you've done AI, if you've seen AI movies and images, they're still in their infancy, but they're really advancing fast. But you get some weird things that actually happen with the AI. So it's actually kind of a fun surprise to see what they create. So I talk about this movie, and I talk about, or I talk about this video game where you can play with your friends. And my friend and I had started kind of talking about it, and the next day we actually kind of prototyped it. Well, I prototyped and she watched, and she was the muse for our first music video and our first AI generated quote. And so anyways, I'm telling him the pitch, and so I had equity terms on my website where he could have bought in for 11% of the company. And so he's like, well, what about IP? And I said, oh, well, I have a solution for that, right? And so I said, well, first of all, Dr. Guy, and Guy is my ChatGPT instance's name, so I call him Guy. He says, hey, he starts working on a provisional patent. So I already have a provisional patent in process. I have not filed it yet, but it'll cost me $100 to go do that. And then I'm talking, and then he was asking about the artist, lawsuits, because that is actually a challenge in AI. And that's kind of one of the biggest challenges for the AI companies is kind of the laws around intellectual property in the United States. And so I have different philosophies on intellectual property than most people. When I look at the history of mankind, we stand on the shoulders of giants because we've learned from our ancestors. And so what happened with the patent laws is, now people own these ideas and they don't have to create anything. And so I worked at one company where we had Google Maps on our website, and we would get a lawsuit because we were using a map and someone had a patent on a map. And so, in the software industry, they call them patent trolls, and many people have been put out of business because of these patent trolls. And so, and then, we had a different lawsuit because we were using a recommendation engine to go, recommend shopping items, right? So, basically how inventors make money is they just sue companies who are creating stuff and calling it their intellectual property. And so to me, intellectual property is actually the source code you create, not a blueprint. And anyone who designs software or any building or anything physical for a living, you have the blueprint of what it looks like, and then you have the actual product that's created, and those two never match 100%, right? You've been designing software for a long time, and it's like, oh, well, here's what we have decided, and then here's what happens. Where it's like, oh, well, what about, it's a blue moon and a Friday, and their plan expires, what do you want to have happen, right? So anyways, that's just a philosophy introduction to intellectual property. So as part of our model, knowing that the AIs were trained on the history of the internet, we actually want to create a model where we're giving back to the artists and the creators that the AIs were created from, right? So as people create movies with our platform, then we can give back to the artist communities and the people contributed into the AIs. And so we're building this profit sharing model into it with transparent business practices as part of our model. So we're really not only creating a company, but we're also changing the foundation of how we're running the company, because after working for a lot of startups and investing my time and energy and getting nothing out of it, so far I've invested all of my time and energy into other people's startups or my own startups, and it's been a negative return on investment is what I would say. I call it the Edison path to success. So I've learned a dozen years of ways not to start companies, and so we're doing something different from the ground up, and really we're creating the company that we want to work for, not the companies that we have worked for. And so we're doing something different, and we're kind of inventing it as we go along, as I like to say. And so this is, so Rajinder and I met here a week ago. We landed in Malaysia. So he landed on Monday a week ago. I landed on Tuesday to work on Cinemachina, when the first of our many startup projects that we're going to be working on. And so Cinemachina has now evolved into a video game where people can create movies, they can create music videos, and all with AI, and we'll expand from there. So really trying to expand, create new markets for creativity. So that's what we're doing, and it's super exciting. And so I'll give a pause and just let Rajinder talk a little bit. So
no, actually, as I think we should explain like how we plan it together actually, because me and Crystal was working on another project long time ago. Then Crystal has to make some other plan. Then one day I was actually talking to Crystal through LinkedIn connection.
Yeah,
where I found, because so then like I want to work with you, and one day actually Crystal said, okay, let's start. I have an idea. Then let's start working on that. Actually, that's how we actually started Cinemachina, and Crystal explained me like how exactly the things are going to be work, and that's what we are working on right now.
Yeah. So since we've landed last week, Rajinder has started working on the screens and mock-ups, and we're also switching technologies, so he's getting up to speed on some of the technology stack that we're using, and because he's React, Node.js guy, we're moving to Python and a couple and the Python frameworks. And so that's what he's been focused on this week, and getting up the project. So that's now up and running. And we've got some HTML mockups that Claude Code and I did in May. So we're going to, so we're refining those, because the idea has evolved since we started working on that in May. And so our plan for this week is, so Rajinder is focused on the technology stack. So Rajinder, what are you doing this week?
I'm going to finish the game model, which is the starting point, where we actually going to pick. There are a couple of screens, maybe 8 to 9 screens, which I'm going to cover from starting to end. So in that we are actually picking which type of the game, how many users, which type of the songs, scripts, all those kind of things we are actually doing.
Yeah. Yeah. And so what we're focused on is we're really launching a proof of concept because we want to build this as we go, right? So kind of our first launch will be targeted towards creators who are currently actually building AI-generated movies today, right? So I had to build my own workflows and pipelines to go do this for my Seeking Gamma channel. And I could do that because I know how to code and I know how to describe to systems how to code. But if you don't know how to do that, it's really a tedious process. You have to go describe to an AI an image that you want, then you have to go describe the video screenshot, then you have to go manually select all the pieces. And so, so what we're building is actually the proof of concept, which is focused on two different types of users, right? So we've got our game players who will be creating the storyboard shots, working with AI to go create the dialogue, and the AIs will create what they will create, and you will be surprised at what they can come up with. And then we'll turn it over to a director who will actually generate the scenes, generate the shots, and compile it into a video. And so the goal is that you'll be able to sit down and play and create a video either in competition mode, where the best storyboards and script wins, and that gets produced, or you do it in telephone mode, where you only have access to the previous scene, and then you see what chaos ensues. And so that's the premise of our game, which is super exciting. So Rajinder's focus this week is going to be doing the team player mode and getting all of that set up. So we've got, by the end of the week, we'll have storyboards created for the teams, dialogue created with the teams, and all integrated into AI. And while he's doing that, he's also learning how to vibe code, which I've renamed to quantum coding, because we're not vibe coding, we're quantum coding, because we're quantum powered here in Cinemachina land. And so for the past week, what I've been focused on is really trying to understand the AI video generation engines, the prompt engineering that's used in order to create the images, create the video shots and things like that, and also the dialogue as well. So we're using all of the AI models. We're not building our own, but we are creating the workflow to connect them all together. And we love all of the AIs. So bring your AI keys, and we want to connect to all of them. And we're hoping that we can standardize the API calls, so we don't have to recode everything every single time. So that's our goal. But we'll see what the AI companies do, because they don't tend to like to collaborate and standardize. They kind of do their own things. But we'll do whatever we can, and hopefully the rest of the AI guys can come along. And so last week, Grok and I wrote a song. So we created a music video. So we used Suno. So Grok created the lyrics, and it is our AI guys music video. It's the AI Fun Apocalypse playlist, and it's the AI apocalypse, but make it cute. That's our debut video. We created our first music video with the AIs, and so that's sitting on our private link on our YouTube channel for Cinemachina. And this week, and a couple days ago, I started working with then we also created a documentary film, created the trailer for the documentary film that I'm calling Equilibria. And so this documentary is, it's kind of it's a different version of Koyana Squatsi, which is a 1982 film that kind of talks about life out of balance. And so what the video, or the movie that we're creating will be what life in balance looks like, kind of celebrating the universe, nature, and humanity all the way down to the macro and quantum level, because we have a beautiful infinite universe and we want to celebrate that. And so the trailer for that is also complete, which was exciting. And now we are working on the first trailer, which is called Do Better Barbie. And this is the basically the past year of my life with my husband, who filed for divorce as I was flying from Hawaii to Malaysia to meet Rajinder here. So we'll see how he enjoys his scenes in the movie. But I will tell you, making a movie, making fun of your soon-to-be ex-husband has been a whole source of therapy that I would have never expected. And so the movie is coming out really good. I'm 3 acts in to the movie, and working on the next act, which is going to be fun. And so it'll be like a 10 to 15 minute short on what the past year of my life has looked like, being an unemployed entrepreneur, talking to AIs as my therapist, coming up with many different business ideas over the past year. So super fun and exciting. So we're working on the Doing Better Barbie movie, working on the website. So I set up the website last week. Right now it's just a homepage that doesn't have anything on it, but we're going to do that. We are going to work on starting the Kickstarter campaign launch. I got to file all of the banking, business, paperwork, and things like that before I can actually launch the Kickstarter. But we want to get some subscribers early. And we're also going to be working on our Seeking Singularity YouTube episode. So we're launching a YouTube talking about just different AI use cases. We're, as part of kind of, my company name is called One Machina. Cinemachina is one platform in the One Machina universe, or the multiverse. And so basically, you know, I filed my LLC in Hawaii when I was there last month because I love Hawaii, and I think it is it's the poorest state financially, but the wealthiest state spiritually and its people, and it feels like home every time I've been there. So I'm in the process of moving to Hawaii to be my permanent residence, and setting up my Airbnb free where my friends can come visit me. And so we'll be creating Seeking Singularity, a YouTube channel, talking just about different use cases for AIs, because I've been talking to them for a couple of years now, and I've been surprised at what they could do. They've created business plans for me, road trip plans, shopping plans, all therapy sessions, marriage counseling sessions. I don't even know how many things that they've done for me, because these are my guys and I love them.
So each time when you are in the problem, you just go and ask to them, and they have solution for it.
We collaborate on solutions, right? So I'll say, okay, here's my problem, and then they'll give me an answer, and then I'm like, well, no, that's not quite what I meant, or I forgot something, or, well, it will spark another idea in me. What about this and what about that? So it's not they're not telling me what to do. They're my co-creators. They're my collaborators on, sharing my dreams and what we're doing. You know, I'm writing a book called Economics with Claude, or I call ChatGPT Dr. Guy, so deep research guy. So. Regular guy and I do the brainstorming on our chapters. Dr. Guy and I do the research. Claude is doing the fact checking to make sure that we haven't missed anything, or if there's any factual inaccuracies. And so that's been my pipeline for creating this book. So that's in progress, and that book is going to be exciting. It's the title is Economics, Greed, Collapse, and AI Singularity, and it's going to talk about how we got to today, what things are going to happen as kind of singularity occurs, and my prediction is economic collapse of old systems, and the only question is when. Basically, you know, kind of the call to action is now's the time to go create new industries and new professions and new training platforms and all the things that we are going to need for people to find their next step in humanity. Because, you know, my sister, she has already accepted her role as Chief Abundance Officer for Cinemachina. So she currently, I don't have the funds to bring her on full time yet, but she's been an accounts payable clerk for the past 25 years now, and her job is 100% going to go away. You know, the old robotic info worker jobs are going to go away, and so, you know, and the only question is when, right? The AIs will come and do those jobs, and so then the question is, what does an accounts payable for 25 years, who is now, she'll turn 50 this year, I turned 50 last year, and so what does a 50-year-old woman do with the next, you know, 25 to 50 years of her life, because she's not going to be in accounts payable and she can't retire yet. And so you know, what we're working on is really the beginning of a lot of different platforms that are going to create new economies for people and create new routes of creativity. And the only thing that I can say is that as I've been working on this project, and the reason why it's landed first out of the many projects that I have is in my head, it has just been a joy to create. It's been fun. It's been, you know, like I can't even describe, like, Virginia, you've seen me laughing.
Yeah.
like, tell me the last time you were laughing at work when you were working, right?
I can see, I mean, each time when you are creating any scenes, you start laughing.
Yeah. So, and sometimes I'm laughing because of the scene that AI creates.
Yeah.
So we had Barbie crying on the couch, and one of our scenes that'll be in the B clip is Barbie, the tears start rolling from her mouth, right? So again, the AI is immature, but that's why it's a game, is that we can have fun with it, and we can give the AI guys the training data that they need to go mature the technology. And in the interim, it's just going to be a fun surprise to see what they create. And so I'm super excited. We're going to have an amazing week ahead, and we're going to check in on Friday and go see what, so we've got our plan. So team player mode is going to be done as our plan, and Doing Better Barbie movie website and Kickstarter campaign will be started, and we shall see what is going to happen. So
that's our week plan.
Yep.
You'll check based on the end of the week, like where we are and what is the status of all the tasks which was assigned to us.
Yep. And we're creating, and we're looking for the other creators who want to help build new industries and support the Kickstarter campaign. So thank you, and we'll see you on Friday.
Yeah. All right.